This is not a well-designed, engineered process for usability. It was great designing it to fit the engine into a very tiny engine compartment. Very good, very light, but for people who actually have to use it, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you have to gap and change spark plugs on a regular basis to also take apart part of the engine to do it. The amount of downtime and extra cost in doing that is very bad. So probably some of the ways in which these controls are laid out, in which the gauges are and everything about the process are laid out, are leading to some of the errors. If there is a process that is causing repeated problems, if you are not doing something to analyze each of these problems and then look at how this problem could have been avoided, you're going to keep making the same mistakes repeatedly. And businesses do this all the time. And the cost to efficiency of the company, to the productivity of the company is huge. It's absolutely huge. And so any cost incurred in researching, analyzing the problem, and looking at how to avoid it is going to have a large return on investment. So that is something that you can do in a process like this. Look at every time they were saying, oh, it's difficult, who knows what was wrong in the mix, it could have been the wrong metal, it could have been the wrong temperature. Well, there's tests to check that. The metallurgists have tests. You can find out if it was the wrong temperature, if it was the wrong metal, if it was the wrong mix of ingredients, or any other part of the process. You can determine where the failure in that product was. And if you're not doing that, you're going to continually cost the company large amounts of money. There's nothing that costs the company more than redoing work. Because companies can miss deadlines, lose customers, aside from the cost of actually remaking it again. So that's very important to think about. And the HR issues and how you incentivize that. We talked about incentives. That's a huge part of the HR strategy, is to work toward the overall efficiency of the company. I have some reading for you in this package. Pay for performance strategies. This is kind of review. This is about what we were talking about last week, really. But since you've all had time to read Chapter 11, it's still appropriate. It's current with what we're doing. And followed by